Welcome to It Takes Two.
I'm Clarissa, the couple therapist.
And I'm Charles, the marketing professor, talking shop on relationships, mental health, and
how to build friendship within a relationship.
Yeah, we'll cover the question, how do couples continue to build on their friendship as their relationship matures? We'll also cover hobbies, conversation bridges, and a bunch of other really fun stuff.
We will also share a fun date idea and connection question you can use with your partner to take your relationship to the next level. So stay tuned till the end.
The Dallas Cowboys played last Sunday in the NFL, and they got obliterated by the underdog Green Bay Packers and their rookie quarterback, Jordan Love. And a North Texas wife had a unique way of watching the game by watching her husband, and the video of her watching her husband went viral with over 25 million views. She created a bingo card based on his predicted reactions. She says, "I've been watching football games with him for 7 years now, and he's been reacting the same way. So I thought it would be funny to show everybody the silly things that he does during games."
That's funny.
Is this fair or foul, Clarissa?
I think that's fair.
You think it's fair?
I don't know. She seems like it's all fun and games. Obviously, I don't know them, but from that tiny snippet, it seems like fun and games. Like, not like...
No malice. Not.
Yeah. Like, she's not like, you're so annoying. Let me make fun of you on the internet. No, she just seems like it's like endearing and like...
Yeah.
A fun thing to do because she knows them so well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Especially if football isn't her thing. What a cool way to engage with your partner in a different way that also includes spending that quality time together.
Totally.
Which is the subject in a big way of what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. So before we dive in, though, let's listen to our disclaimer.
This podcast only provides information. It's not a viable replacement for a therapy session. If you need help or have an emergency, contact your local mental health authority. Our hosts are experts on mental health. Many of our guests are too. This podcast does not provide expert advice. It's just entertainment, baby. Things, dates, and places have changed. This podcast should never replace real therapy.
Check this out. A meta-analysis of 162 studies with over 72,000 participants showed that a higher quality marriage results in measurable increased health outcomes, reduced mortality from all causes, better heart health, better mental health, etc. And the researchers suggested that quality time was the greatest influence on marital quality. Clarissa, couples therapist and owner of Utah Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic, what's your take on that?
I've heard this type of study over and over and over, like just in school or outside of school, and it's so fascinating to me because I feel like if it makes that much of a difference, then why don't more people focus on that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, absolutely. I think a lot of people have gotten used to like the idea of they need to drink more water or work out, or like they need to go to the doctor once a year. Like there's things that have like normalized in society that you should focus on to like make your life better and have like better health outcomes and stuff. But marriage is not one of the ones that we talk about.
Yeah, very underrated in predicting what your future will look like.
Very, very. Something I love about the part where it says better mental health is being a couples therapist. I work with, I inevitably end up working with couples, but also individuals with their mental health. And it's really cool because I get to see how much there's a correlation between if their relationship isn't doing well, how much more stress or poor mental health they have. But when their relationship starts getting better, how much better those things get.
Wow.
as well.
It's like there's a direct correlation.
Oh, I see it all the time.
So if you're experiencing poor mental health, you're suggesting perhaps that improving the marital quality of your relationship will also simultaneously improve your mental health.
Definitely. Like the basic ways to describe why that occurs, I guess, is like, just think about when you have a safe person versus when you don't have a safe person, like how much better a problem can get with like having a safe person. So if you have that built-in person in your marriage, I just feel like you can deal with so many things just so much better.
Yeah, I just think about this being a chicken or the egg problem, where somebody feels that they have poor mental health and that's impacting the quality of the marital relationship. And so what do you do when that's the case? It's like, which one do you address first, especially if a couple is saying, well, it's hard to be married to this person because their mental health is really challenging.
I don't think it's like a bad idea to work on how to make your mental health a little bit better, but I think sometimes people discount how much their marriage is affecting that as well, I guess. So
yeah.
I guess for like to not like get in the weeds with a specific client, I'll just share like my example with like having OCD. Like OCD is something that has greatly affected you and our relationship. So me getting that under wraps is important, and like doing that on my own is really important. But I think like if our relationship wasn't very good, then like my OCD symptoms would be terrible. So it's like worse. And so it is a chicken versus the egg. And I don't think it hurts to like start anywhere. But if I was to start working on my OCD and our relationship was crappy, then I just don't think I would get very far, if I'm being honest.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And
so,
and just going back to what you originally said, having a safe person is huge.
Right.
For mental health outcomes.
Right. So yeah, I mean like that's just like what, like if you think about like depression, like part of the reason why people feel depression is because they feel like they're never good enough, nothing's ever good enough, what's the point, that type of stuff. So if you have a safe person who like is validating and reassuring you and helping you like have space to like self-reflect and sit in those emotions, that gets better.
Yeah. And I love the idea of also learning how to support a partner who's struggling with mental health, because that's, I think, checking all of the boxes. It's improving the marital quality by connecting with them. It is creating a safe base for that person. And it's also probably going to help their mental health. Yeah.
And I also think like a lot of people can get really good at ignoring their mental health. I know that sounds bad, but I don't know if you really can ignore like a marital issue. Like it is so loud and it affects so much.
That's a great point. Couples therapy. I mean, honestly though, like we obviously are pro mental health, pro couples therapy podcast because of your position, but candidly, and maybe that's part of the reason why you became a couples therapist, is because you saw just how impactful in the lives of individuals a good relationship can be.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I'm sure there's so much data on that. So the question then becomes, what can improve marital quality? And the researchers suggested quality time as the greatest influence on marital quality. So Clarissa, what is quality time? I mean, we all kind of get the general gist of it, but I think there is some nuance there.
Sorry. It is just so, maybe I feel like it's really self-explanatory, and that's why I'm kind of like, pandering a little, if that's the right word, but like it's spending time together in a way that's quality and like builds up the relationship. Am I missing something?
Let me explain the nuance, I guess. I did kind of tee you up, not in the best way there.
No, you did not.
So for example, I don't view, like if I had a friend who was like, hey, Charles, I want to go have some quality time with you. Let's go to the movies and watch a movie together in theaters. To me, that's not quality time. I'm spending time with that person and I might enjoy that time and it's entertaining and enjoyable, But quality time, I don't feel like I'm really getting a chance to connect with that person. And so I guess that definition of quality is more of what I'm focusing in on.
And maybe, though, the definition of quality varies per person, as well as like in general, the focus being on connecting with each other in like a present, thoughtful way, probably.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be fair to create a scale of how quality time is for an activity. So like if you're sitting there in a movie theater, maybe that's a 3. If you are working on a home project together, that's a 5. If you are on a date maybe that's an 8 or a 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I think the temptation is to say, well, we spend a lot of time together, but is that quality time?
I get what you're saying, and I think that it's highly likely that even if somebody spends a lot of time together, that it's not all quality. Okay,
and to that point, I have some more data here. Couples on average spend about 2 to 2.5 hours a day together, including weekends, according to the Office for National Statistics. That time is largely spent watching TV shows, which was 1/3 of all time spent together, eating, which was about 30 minutes, and doing housework together, which was about 24 minutes.
Wow. It blows my mind how like how much like eating is a big part, but also like housework. Like those are 2 things that you just like have to do. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what I'm saying is I feel like that's a 1 or a 2 on the quality time scale. That's not quality time.
Well, especially because it's something you have to do. Like,
right.
You have to clean your house and eat. And then watching TV is like, you don't have to watch TV, but that is like not really that like present or like thoughtful time together.
Right. And then throw kids into the mix.
Yeah. Jeez. Like if you have kids running around while doing all those things, it's like, no.
That's not quality time.
No. Did you, sorry, I just remember this meme that I posted. I don't know if you saw it, but it was that one about like when couples get out on a date and then it was like some actor or something talking to somebody and he's like, I actually really like you. Like, you're really cool. I thought you were an ass before this. Like, and it was just, it's like obviously people who are not in a relationship, but like the meme is like how when couples are just in their day to day with like their kids and all this, and then they actually like leave all of that, then they're like, wait, I actually really like you. Like it's really necessary, I guess.
Yeah. So when a couple comes in and they feel less connected or they want to improve the quality of their marriage, and you bring up this concept of quality time with them and they say, oh, but we don't have enough time. What would you suggest to them, or what's some methods or tools or techniques?
Yeah, I think the first one we should cover is a John Gottman. Well, they're actually both, the 2 things that came to my mind were John Gottman principles, but there is something called the magic 6 hours to strengthen your relationship. And should I just like read out the 6 hours? Or
yeah,
okay.
Do it.
So essentially, John Gottman describes 6 hours within a week that you can find time to strengthen your relationship. So the ones that he brings up are, first one is like partings, like before work. So this is kind of built around somebody who works like a 9 to 5.
Sure.
But
just real quick to interject there. The study that I was referencing also showed that couples who have dual income where they both work have 30 less minutes together on average than single income.
What?
I know.
Weird.
I know, right? And so that's an also interesting thing to take. But even still, if you have an hour and a half to 2 hours a day minimum, that still falls within the 6-hour framework.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because if that's per day, then what I share is going to be plenty of
exactly.
That.
Because that 6 hours is over a week, correct?
Yes. Okay, so the first one is spending 10 minutes a week in partings. So essentially having the ritual of like 2 minutes before somebody goes to work, like saying goodbye and whatnot. And what they say, what Gottman says is to learn one thing that is happening in your partner's life that day. So if they have like lunch plans, or if they plan to like call a family member, or if like you two plan to do something later in the day, like learn about their day, learn about what's going on apart and together, and like taking the time to do that, and then like doing a kiss goodbye.
I love that. And I'm feeling contrarian today, and I hope that's okay. I hope it doesn't throw you off at all. But I want to just be like, well, every day is the same, and work is the same every day, and like what I've got going on every day is not that different. So it just seems kind of pointless to redundantly say the same thing over and over. What would you say to somebody who might push back a little bit on you in that way?
I would probably say that if truly that their life was the same every single day, then they must be pretty unhappy, because I just genuinely don't think that that's real. Like, maybe you work on the same things, maybe you see the same people, but what's going on with the project? How has it evolved? What's going on with like the work relationships at the office? How are those evolving? Like, there are so many interesting things going on in somebody's day. Like, this is gonna sound really mean, but it's like, are you lazy? Like, if you just don't want to like share what's going on, is it just like laziness? Like, you don't actually want to like, or is it just like you can't open up? Like, in my opinion, there's enough random small things in your life that happen on a daily basis, or different things daily, that you can talk about. And if not, then you're either not willing to put in the work to like strengthen your relationship, or you have like walls up.
Yeah, no, I really want to touch on that second one, because that, as I spoke it, I immediately felt that in myself. Like, if I was feeling that way, it's probably because I would feel like you don't care. Like, if I come home from work and you're like, hey, what happened today? I'm like, oh, the same old thing. Oh, okay. I would just assume that you don't really care about what I do on a day-to-day, or those special nuance, or like the different unique things that happen every day.
Well, you kind of jumped ahead, because like we're talking about parting, so we're talking about like before you go to work. It's like,
oh yes, yeah, sorry.
It's kind of like, what do you got going on today? Like, so I don't know, what meetings do you have? What clients do you see? Like, I mean,
Good
clients
point.
being like, if you're a service worker that doesn't deal with like HIPAA, but like, or not even service, but anyway, there's just like, there's things that are coming up that you're already thinking about with your life. And if you're not willing to share those, then there's something there that's wrong, probably.
Yeah. So I guess on the flip side too, then it's important in these partings for there to be attentive listening and earnest interest and sincere care about what the person's doing that day. Yeah.
And then I think that ties to when I said you're jumping ahead, because the next one is reunions, which is actually spending 1 hour and 4 minutes per week, which comes out to be 20 minutes a day. So I don't know why they had 4 minutes. Whatever. I think it might be just 1 hour a week, which is 20 minutes a day. So that's like when somebody, it says like, they say, common, that when you get home from work or wherever you're at that day, that you should share a hug and a kiss. And they actually say the kiss should be a kiss with potential, which is a 6-second kiss.
Ooh.
So it's not just like
Get
a
out
peck.
your timers. Get out your stopwatches.
No.
This is a 6-second kiss.
Just a kiss with potential.
I love that. No, I love that description though.
Yeah.
A kiss with potential.
Yeah.
It's kind of sexy. I kind of like that, you know? Yeah, this kiss got potential.
Oh my gosh. And then you should have a stress reducing convo, meaning like you're not like starting any arguments. It's supposed to be like debriefing and like talking about what happened in your day, and exercising empathy during like when your partner's talking. And then this should also be like a moment to have non-sexual intimacy. So basically just like bonding with like being intimate and present, but not in a sexual way. But it's also a way to like follow up on like what you learned in the partings. and a way to like so follow up about that thing, but then also understand like what stressors are going on in your partner's day.
Yeah, I want to highlight how underrated daily physical affection is as well. And we don't have to get into like the physiological, neurotransmitters that get released, the dopamine, the oxytocin that builds trust and connection, reduces stress levels, all those different things. But it is so true. And when you say a hug, a hug, like not like oh, what's up, bro? Like a hug.
Yeah.
And a kiss with potential. I love that. And then taking that opportunity, just hold hands. Or put, a hand on the leg.
Yeah.
And just to have a moment of physical connection while debriefing. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It might seem small, but it's big.
Yeah. Which is funny because I feel like you're just like, you're reading the room, I guess, because it's coming up.
Am I? Oh, okay. Well, all right. Keep going. Sorry. Yeah.
Not the next one, because I want to go into appreciation and admiration. So they say that you should spend 35 minutes a week, which comes out to be 5 minutes a day. Not all at once necessarily, but at least like around 5 minutes per day where you share something like words of affirmation type thing. So this is kind of like, I know I'm dipping into some other love languages than quality time, but that's okay. So they say if this is hard for you, if it's hard for you to find things to say like, hey, I really appreciate that you did XYZ, then what their recommendation is to have an admiration journal where you write something small that you notice your partner do, and then connect that to a trait of theirs. So if you noticed, I don't want to use a classic one. Let me think. If you notice that they like went and got you water, like while you're like sitting somewhere on the couch or something, like, then you could connect that to a trait of that they're observant or aware or thoughtful or care about others, that sort of thing. So it's like connecting an action to like a value that you see in your partner.
I like that.
In a journal.
So 5 minutes a day, maybe this is, you said not all at once. It could be broken up. Just, hey, I noticed you did this. I really admire that you were that way. Okay, that's doable. That's easy.
So affection is the next one, and it's 35 minutes a week, 5 minutes a day. And the one example that Gottman shared that's really cool is to have a good night embrace, at least. So like before bed, like hugging, this could be like a small cuddle or a kiss, or I guess especially a kiss, because the thing that they mention is that in the kiss, it should be a way to let go of minor stressors. So you should lace the kiss with tenderness and forgiveness, which I find really like a really cool visual of like, if you like struggled with something in the day, but it's not like big enough to like really hash out or something, then yeah, you should like take time to like deep breathe and like give your partner a kiss and just like let all of that go, I guess.
And it's beautiful to imagine that mindfulness in a kiss.
Yeah.
So it's very romantic. It's very intimate and sensitive. And again, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It's just a moment to intentionally and effortfully engage with your partner.
Yeah. And just like talking about like those two, like appreciation and admiration and then affection, like, I mean, 35 minutes a week each, that's like an hour and 10 minutes a week. If you're getting an hour and 10 minutes of those things a week, I feel like your relationship would be improving significantly.
I buy that.
So,
and again, think about everything we talked about earlier. Your entire individual well-being can be positively impacted by spending an hour and 20 minutes a week doing these very small adjustments with your partner.
Yep. Yeah. So the last two, these would be the last 3 hours of the week, but they're split into two. So one of them is date night, So it says spend 2 hours one time in a week where it's just we time. The recommendation here is to ask each other open-ended questions. And that could look like, the examples that they gave was like, I really want to go on a vacation with you sometime soon. Where would you want to go? Oh. So it's just like open-ended. Other examples were like, are you still thinking of reorganizing the bathroom or like redecorating the bathroom? And then like, what would you do with it? So it's just like leaving it open-ended, not asking like yes or no, but giving your partner room to explain and talk, and then learning stuff from them.
Okay. I like that a lot. Can I, so that's one of the final two. What's the final one?
The final one is actually called State of the Union Meeting, which is spending 1 hour per week discussing the state of your relationship, essentially.
State of the Union. That's
the
funny.
concerns in your relationship as well, or is like specifically. So Gottman actually has done studies learning that when couples spend 1 hour doing the State of the Union meeting, they are able to better handle conflict in other parts of their relationship because they take the time to like do it and practice it once a week.
Oh. So if a couple is having a lot of conflict in their relationship, maybe they should prioritize that hour.
Yes.
State of the Union.
Yeah. Because you're practicing essentially, like in the meeting, you should spend the first portion talking about what went well. So what things in your relationship went well during the week. And then you should give 5 appreciations that you have not said during the week and be specific with examples. And then you should discuss issues after that. So it's like you're building each other up, and then you discuss issues, and you take turns being the speaker listener, which is just a technique where one person's speaker, one person's listener, and the speaker should focus on gentle startups, which is like I statements and not causing blame. And then the listener should be listening with understanding and not judgment. He said if it gets escalated, you should take breaks. And then after you have given each other time to like just listen and validate, then you could problem solve for the upcoming week of like how to prevent maybe some of those issues that came up. And then after that, you should talk about what can I do this week to make you feel loved. And that's the State of the Union. And that's your 6th hour.
Guys, so you already spend, if you're in a couple, if you're in a relationship, you already spend on average 14 hours a week with your partner. So let's just be a little bit extra deliberate with those 6 hours and improve that marital quality. Life gets better all around.
Yes.
Constantly. I'm not going to say I know better than Dr. John Gottman or Drs. Gottman, excuse me, but I did find another study that made one more recommendation that you should do weekly. I don't think it'll surprise you, but couples who have sex once a week reported a happiness index increase equivalent to earning $5,000 extra.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's like so surprising.
I know, right? Like
not like because I don't
quantify.
believe it, but because it's just like, oh, I've never heard somebody like quantify it. Yeah.
Right? No, 100%. I thought that was fascinating. So the happiness index ranks everything and its impact on a person's overall happiness. Like commute has a big impact on happiness index. Time together with family, able to spend time in hobbies and interests.
Wow.
And anyway, apparently making 5,000 extra and having sex once a week are on the same.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it's cool.
I think that's amazing.
That's really cool. I kind of like how...
I love it. Let's talk a little bit more about quality time and ideally hitting all of those other love languages that you just mentioned. But before we do, let's just take a quick break. Okay, apart from the magic 6 hours to strengthen your relationship, one of the most important things for couples to do, especially if their relationship is maturing, they've been together for a number of years, they have children, and their life kind of feels like they're in a bit of a rut or kind of plateauing, you can continue to build upon your friendship relationship with your partner, which really does reinvigorate and add an extra depth and dimension to a relationship. And so what are some other quality time activities that couples can do together to both build the friendship and also hit some of these love languages?
Yeah, there's one specifically that is also a Gottman, like I mentioned earlier. So today's just a Gottman day. But there was one that I also wanted to bring up. And I guess it is quality time, but it's also more of like a way to just like be more connected, have more things to talk about. Because one of the things that I hear the most from people in therapy is, okay, cool, like we are on a date, but what do we talk about?
Yep.
Like it can be easy to like leave the house, but then what do we even talk about? So this goes along with like some of the things I was talking about in the Magic 6 Hours, and I'm going to do a brief rundown because I also, we want to spend like another time doing something else. But what I wanted to talk about was love maps, which the definition of love maps is really quite like simple once you hear what it's like, but it's essentially staying up to date with your partner's world. So if you think about maps, like if Google Maps is like updating like the streets and stuff like that, it's
Love this
like
analogy.
It's kind of like that, but like staying up to date with like your partner's world. And so it's not necessarily like the earth, it's like what's going on in their world. And that's why it's maps. You have like a roadmap to like understanding them. So there's a questionnaire, and I'm not going to read every single question, but it's 20 questions, and it's true or false. And so you're very like easily able to find this if you just Google Love Maps questionnaire. But the ones that they bring up is, I can name my partner's best friends, true or false. And you guys can answer this while I read them. I can tell you what stresses my partner is currently facing. I know the names of some of the people who have been irritating my partner lately. I can tell you some of my partner's life dreams. I'm very familiar with my partner's religious beliefs and ideas. I can tell you about my partner's basic philosophy of life. I can list the relatives my partner likes the least. I know my partner's favorite music. I can list my partner's 3 favorite movies. My spouse is familiar with my current stressors. And then there's 10 more, but I just encourage you guys to look it up if you want to know more about it. But essentially what it is like all of that gives you things to talk about. Like if you know what's going on, who they're not like vibing with, then you can like bring that stuff up. And if you're doing like active listening and like really taking that stuff in, then it does make your partner feel really heard and seen. And so that's Love Maps, friends.
You know, half of these questions just sound like tea time. Right? Like it really like just spill the tea on your life right now. It's kind of like what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite part of life.
Just tea time. And then the other half are like kind of existential worldview questions, which I think do change and evolve, and there's nuance. I love those questions. Those are amazing.
Yeah, I like them too. I think that they are very telling on like how friendly you are with your partner. Like if you're not talking about those things, then like you should be.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna also list off a list of things right now. These are a list of activities where you can use Love Maps as part of the activity, which again, we're checking off all the boxes here. We're hitting all these different love languages. We're getting that quality time to increase the marital quality, which overall improves life in all different aspects, measurable aspects as well. So, are you ready for the marital level up activities list? Things you can do with your partner. And I did curate this list for most affordable. So I took out wine tasting at the vineyard. I took out, some of these really expensive over-the-top activities. These are more about, they're practical, pragmatic, easy to pull off.
So these are things that, like, if people are like, but what do we do? It's date night, but what do we do?
Yes.
We never know what to do with each other.
And I invite you to be open-minded about this, okay? Because, again, if I told you that if you spent just one date a week doing something new that you might not have liked before, but you might like now, but you just, like, case in point, cottage cheese. I grew up hating cottage cheese. It was disgusting. The smell of it, the sight of it, everything. And the other day, we were recommended it for is high in protein, it's healthy food, whatever, healthy snack. And we're like, all right, we'll try it. Tried it. Don't mind it. Kind of like it.
Kind of quite like it, yeah.
And I like it in my salads now.
Salad, dip.
Blows my mind. Anyway, so also, science to this, every 7 years, every cell in your body is recycled and refreshed. So we get allergic to new things every 7 years. Anyway, point being,
taste buds change.
They do. So everything changes. So if 10 years ago you hated reading books, don't shoot down the book club idea. Okay,
hey,
here we go.
I actually did used to hate reading books, and now I read all the time.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, so be open-minded and maybe pick out 2 to 3 of these that sound interesting to you, and you can review this list with your partner as well. Semicolon. If you've got ideas to add to this list, comment them. We want to try them. If we try one of your commented activities, we'll do it. We'll try it out and we'll let you know how it goes. Okay, here we go. Dance lessons. Now, initially you think, oh, well, that does cost money. No. You just throw up a YouTube video. There's 8,000 million TikTokers who are teaching TikTok dances. It's hilarious. You might feel silly and look stupid. It's fun. Promise. Next, DIY home projects. So these are things that don't need to be taken care of, but will level up the quality of your home. Super fun to collaborate on. Yoga. Again, you can do all of this at home using a YouTube video or something like that. But this is quality time together, betters your health, mental health, all that good stuff. All right, I'm not going to explain all these. I'm just going to list them off now. Book club for 2. Movie nights, where you review the film. So that's the key. You don't just watch it. You actually do a review together and grade it and different things like that. It sounds super fun. Board games. We've got couples friends who just, this is their
bread and butter
life force. Like they just got thousands of them. Oh, fun fact. My coworker, I almost dropped his name. My coworker, who is another marketing professor, he is the Guinness World Record holder for owning the most board games. Facts.
Nerd. Just kidding. Nerd. If you're listening to this, I apologize deeply.
It's funny when he told us, he's like, I'm going to answer the question on your mind. Have I played all of them? Absolutely not. He literally is just buying them to get that record. I mean, he loves board games, but like, he just wanted that record, so he just kept buying them.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? Okay, anyway, carrying on. Photography. We all have smartphones. We all have access to doing some cool, fun photos. Take photos on nature walks, city tours, try finding new angles of your local environment. Have some fun with that. Cycling. Explore bike trails or take leisurely rides or go crazy in dirt biking if you'd like. Pottery or ceramic classes. I'm a little bearish on that one. Sounds expensive. Puzzle solving. Okay, work on large jigsaw puzzles, or again, there's some free resources online that you can digitally do some fun puzzle solving. Painting or drawing. Take art classes at home. Again, free resources online you can use to do that. Volunteering, giving back to a cause you both care about. Stargazing, one of my personal favorites. Magical moments, looking up at the stars. There's some cool apps you can download for free that will show you constellations.
Yeah, there's this place in Arizona that was like a big old giant telescope in a park, and like you could just like go and like look at whatever the guy was looking at the time, or the person.
I'll never forget when we did that.
Yeah.
We looked at the Sombrero Galaxy.
Yeah.
It was freaking dope. You look through that telescope and it's like a little sombrero in the sky. It's adorable.
Yeah, there was also like a triangle. That one was so sick.
That one was really cool. All right, carrying on. Bird watching. Okay. Again, you might be like, bird watching? No, listen. It's actually kind of cool. Or maybe it's just because I rounded 30 and now I think it's kind of cool. Museum visits, exploring art, history, or science museums. One of my favorite birthday gifts you gave me was going to that science museum.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
And I'm a big science nerd, but like I think if I wasn't, it still just would have been awesome.
Yeah. I think there's so many cool like museums that like tour the US, you know, like we went to one that was like the Pompeii. That was at the Science Museum. And that was so interesting. Like if you've ever heard of the Pompeii incident in Italy. I just love going to those. Like those are so cool.
Yeah, we went to the Museum of Music.
Yeah,
in Arizona.
If you live in Arizona, you have to go to the Museum of Music. They have every single instrument ever, and it is massive, like hours. Like you should go like 2 parts. Like
they literally told us you should go over 2 days because it's so massive, and we're like, nah.
And then we tried to do it in one, and it was like we were like in a rush. We were tired.
10 hours later, we're like dying,
but like wanting to be there.
There was like a tuba the size of a room. It was insane. It was
so crazy.
And neither of us are musicians. It's not like
it's just
cool to explore and see new things.
Oh, I was gonna say the Van Gogh Museum was so cool.
That
one was one of my
incredible.
favorite museum type experiences.
Again, I am not an art buff at all, but I purchased a lot of Van Gogh art after that.
Yeah.
It's just so rad. Cool. Okay, next, camping, or in our case, glamping. We're bougie campers. Learning a new language together. I actually love this one. Because
cool.
Because then you practice with each other and you don't feel stupid with like the bad things that you forget. Anyway, I just thought that one was really cool. I think that'd be really, really neat. Fitness challenge, set and achieve fitness goals together. We kind of covered this in our New Year's resolutions. This is more about intention and persistency versus like actually achieving the fitness goal. It's about spending time together, go walking together, jogging together, hit the gym together, do yoga together, whatever. But fitness challenges are a great way to work on something together. It also provides a lot of things to talk about. Baking and cooking, creating specifically new things you've never done before, never baked before. And even if it turns out a disaster, it's hilarious. Post it on your socials and laugh with people at your terrible creations. Taking online courses, learning new skills or subjects together, udemy.com, $15 classes. Usually that content is like 20 to 40 hours. Learning new skills together is really, really fun. Skating or rollerblading. We did that last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I think we got skateboards and rollerblades for each other, which was super fun. Concerts or live music. There's always cheap local artist concerts going on in your area. Go check out some new music that you've never listened to before. Again, even if it's terrible, it'll give you something to talk about. Couples massage, learning massage techniques to use on each other.
I never thought about learning techniques. That's interesting.
Yeah, and you try them, you're using some oil. It's getting a little warm in the room, Yeah.
Babe. No, literally.
Oh, okay.
Cute,
got it. Okay, I'm just going to blast through these. DIY craft projects, escape rooms, video gaming. I'm actually going to pause on this one. Okay? Clarissa and I have played many, many, many video games together as a couple, and it has been so fun.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do.
It's challenging. It builds connection, problem solving, even conflict. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to blast off some amazing games to play together. Overcooked 1 and 2. Classic. Hilarious.
So fun. Now I want to play that. What the crap?
We laughed so hard and we were playing with a friend as well that we we literally felt sick to our stomach because we were laughing so hard.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Stardew Valley, which is a chill casual game.
I've heard it's really good for anxiety.
There you go.
Yeah.
On the opposite end of that, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, a colorful and exciting space shooter. It is so silly. So there's like 8 stations, and you and your partner have to run between the stations, like piloting and firing the guns.
I'll never forget that's what we chose to do for Valentine's one year.
That's
and
right.
It's the perfect Valentine's because like neon pinks and reds and orange, and it's just like so like it's just so lovers. Like it's really cute and fun. So if you need a Valentine's thing today or this year.
Yeah, it's like $3 too. Yeah. Like it's super cheap. Mario Kart, classic. Portal 2, a great puzzle co-op game.
That one's so fun.
Amazing humor.
Yeah.
So funny. Lots of great twists in that one. Diablo 4, which we have a hilarious story about. We gotta save it for another episode.
For advanced gamers.
Yeah. Animal Crossing New Horizons, another relaxing life simulation game. Okay, the hardest game that Clarissa and I have ever played and beaten, Cuphead.
That one was good.
Believe it or not, I think that is when Clarissa earned her true gamer badge, was when she beat Cuphead.
Yeah, we've got to explain it. Like, when you play with two people, like, one person could die and the other one can finish the match. Well, the way that Charles made us play is that if I died, then we would restart. And Charles would make it. If he died and I finished, like, I won the boss, then that was fine. But it was like, no matter what, I had to be able to be surviving by the end. And it was hard.
Brutal, but so much fun. Don't Starve Together, a survival game. Excellent. Okay, this one's one of our favorites, classic. Castle Crashers.
So fun.
And Battle Block Theater.
Oh, so fun.
10 out of 10 recommend. Great for starters.
Great humor in those ones.
Absolutely. And great
Battle Block.
Seriously. But if you're new to gaming and you're just starting, those are two excellent
simple
games.
Mm-hmm.
On that same note, sorry, I got to scroll these. There's so many good ones.
Gosh.
Little Big Planet 3, another great.
Oh, that one's so cool.
Such a fun, beautiful game. Sea of Thieves is hilarious. A Way Out is a story-driven game. Pretty simple, pretty easy, but very intense in the story. Like that's the prison break one.
Oh, yeah.
That one was fun.
With the twist at the end?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Great plot twist at the end.
That one was crazy.
Guys, I have so many. Civ 5 and Civ 6.
I love those games.
Those are like board game video games that are strategy. But
Super fun.
We got to wrap this up, so I'm going to end on this one. The greatest co-op game ever made, and the inspiration for this podcast, It Takes Two. Beautiful game, excellent story, incredible visuals, truly a masterpiece of content, period. Like, don't let video game diminish the quality of experience here. It's one of the most entertaining, engaging, immersive experiences somebody can do. Such a good game.
It's about a couple who's on the brink of divorce, trying to save their relationship, and it's just so cool. They basically work out their problems by like going to like therapy and like doing all these challenges together, and
they're forced into therapy, for the record.
That's true. It's
against
mandated
their will in order to regain their bodies, because they get turned into these little dolls. They have to go through therapy. It's hilarious.
It's very cool. And what I love the most about that video game is that it truly takes two. Like, you have different functions different roles that you play in the problem solving. And so you have to work together to do everything. And I just think that is so brilliant.
Absolutely.
Just the whole concept. And I feel like that's like really about, like, it's such a good analogy about like marriage and stuff. Anyway, go play that game.
We got to wrap up. So Clarissa, what is our takeaways from today's show?
I think the takeaways is that if you listen to this podcast and you still don't know what to do to connect with your partner, then shame on you. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Shame.
But really the takeaways are so many ideas and directions on connecting with your partner. And truly, like, I hope you gained at least a few ideas that get you really excited.
Yeah, if you don't know what to talk about or you don't know what to do, play back this podcast, remind yourself, and go have some fun. Go connect, because again, at the end of the day, marital quality is one of the biggest predictors of health, physical health, mental health, and life happiness. So it's worth it. Worth it. Clarissa, what's our date idea and connection question?
I think the date idea should be to find something from the list that you most recently shared, whether it's a video game to play together or a date or like an activity to do together. You should choose one of those and try it together.
Love it.
Not apart, together. That's important.
Yes.
And for the connection question, I don't know. I'm going to switch it up. I know we switched it up last week too, but I think it could be cool that during that activity that you do to practice asking open-ended questions to start dialogue and conversation with your partner. So like you should each try and practice that.
Okay, so it's less about what you ask and how you ask it.
Yep.
I love that. All right, well, this is Charles.
And Clarissa signing off.
Now just remember, for things to get better,
For me and you, it takes two.
Yeah!
I should have high-fived you.